alaikum. Welcome to this week's edition of the Oasis. I'm your brother Haq Islam. And this week's guest, I'm really excited to have on because I've been following them for a while.
Yeah.
Seen them on TLC, CNN, the Real Housewives of Atlanta, TED Talks, and so much more. Named Ebony Magazine's 2012 Couple of the Year, Rufus and Jenny Triplett. Welcome to the Oasis.
Welcome. Thanks for having us.
You know, because I wanted to get this down because you guys are so accomplished, and I'm so proud and happy to have you on the show.
Well, we appreciate it.
Yeah, and we don't look at it as accomplishments. It's just kind of, I guess, like
I got accomplishments. Excuse me.
It's like our journey through what we're going and what we're doing, and it's only when you read it back and like that is, it's a list of accomplishments. But as we're going through the journey, it just seems like it's something that we're doing.
It was work.
Well, it was work.
We worked hard for the money.
Yeah,
we put in
but
the
not
work.
only that, Allah chooses those who He blesses, and you've been blessed.
Man,
Yeah,
alhamdulillah.
that's true. Alhamdulillah.
That's all I can say.
You've been blessed.
Some of the stuff I just wouldn't have believed on the real people.
Yeah. A lot of times, it's pinch me moments.
So let's get into it. Let's start with your story. You've been married for over 30 years. How many exact?
I spent the past 35 years.
35. We reached 35 in October.
Well, sister, you only look 42. How'd that happen?
Woo.
Oh, I appreciate it, my brother.
Boy, hope I ain't robbing no cradle around here.
I guess that's what they call that good living and a good voodoo. I keep a good voodoo.
Oh, alhamdulillah. Now, how did you meet?
She was she was looking around the corner.
I let him go
doing
first.
That peep out
No.
I said, what the girl looking at?
Well, what
No.
corner was this?
No.
That corner around.
No, I don't do
You have
corners.
a southern accent, and she has a northern
Ooh.
accent.
Hey, I'm down south, girl.
No, you're
Yeah,
not.
Watch out now.
No, you're not.
No, we was
No,
we was at my cousin's house, and she showed up, man. I'm like, where she come
Well,
from?
where was this?
But see, that's what I'm saying. He doesn't tell the story because he always tries to embellish
I was
the
just trying
story.
to tell the people you was peeping at me.
He has a first cousin that's in Ready for the World.
What city was this?
Flint. Ready for
Flint,
the World is from
Michigan.
Flint,
Okay.
right? I used to.
Now, hold on, because people who don't know who Ready for the World is, I know it was in the Jamie Foxx record, or but Ready for the World.
Ready for the World.
There you go. Well, does anybody want to give us a little? Now, I produce music. I don't sing. So it's everybody want to sing?
I don't sing.
Stop it. Why you playing? Yes, you do. Lord
You have
goodness.
one of those voices, brother. You have your speaking voice tells me you sing. That's why I looked at you.
No comment.
Stop it.
No, no. I mean, it was a group out of Flint, Michigan, and them boys came out. We thought actually, story was telling us earlier. Y'all don't know this, but it was a story you telling us earlier about the music industry, and we met Clive Davis, and it sort of went down like that. But they was telling us that we sound like Ready for the World.
Then you all over here. You on a tangent.
I was just trying. I was
Let's
remembering
get
his story.
I gotta talk to Jenny. Let me talk to Jenny for a
Yeah.
minute,
He gotta get the story.
I gotta get the story.
I got you.
I gotta get the
I
story.
got you.
So Ready for the World. You're in Flint, Michigan. You're from Michigan.
No, we're from Michigan, but I wasn't in Flint. I worked for a radio station as an intern in Saginaw, Michigan, which is about 30 minutes away from Flint. So the DJ I was working with, Dave Rosas, no longer with us, at the time, he got invite to Ready for the World's Gold Party in Flint, Michigan. For those who don't know, a gold party is when you sell over 500,000 records. So they had a gold party. So me and my little BFF, little 16-year-olds, we going to hop down here to the gold party, see who we could see. So we got invite, went down to the gold party, and met his family. Didn't meet him that night, but his family.
So she say.
Because they were all there for the gold party with Ready for the World, accepting their awards and different stuff like that. My BFF fell for one of his cousins, And we used to go back and forth to Flint all the time because they were seeing one another. So we were up and down the road to Flint. One time at the cousin's house, he came over. And he had another cousin. He has a lot of cousins. He has over 200 first cousins. So one time over the cousin's house, one of his other cousins wanted to play matchmaker. So they was playing matchmaker between me and him. And that's how we originally met. Yeah.
Shaheed, you know who he is. I'm telling names.
All right. So now she also revealed she was 16.
Yeah, she sure
Okay.
was.
He was
I
16
don't know what she
too. He was 16
up and down
too.
that road like
Okay.
that.
Yeah,
Okay, so
because my
now-
mama trusted me. That's
Isn't it?
why.
Well,
There
mine
you
didn't.
Wow.
Yeah.
So okay, you go into the Marines. You go into the Marines. You go into the Navy.
Yes.
Oh yeah, yeah.
How did the relationship sustain itself?
Oh my gosh, that's a story.
Well, I'm gonna tell you.
I went first.
Yeah, because I'm
I
gonna tell
went
you
You
how
gotta
first.
break it down quickly because we got so much ground. To
Yeah,
cover.
Okay.
I went
she
first.
sent me this Care Bear package. When I was in
While you were away.
no, she went to the military first.
I was
then I
in-
went in.
Yeah, I was in the Navy.
And she sent me a package, and I'm like, who sent? I didn't think we get
Well,
packages.
whoa. Well, I gotta go back to Jenny for a minute.
Okay.
Because he be
I
all
know,
over the
yeah,
place.
Wait. You went into what made you go into the Navy?
Because I had options. Okay, I had gotten what do you say when you into Michigan State? I had got into Michigan State.
Scholarship.
Yeah, no scholarship.
Mhm.
My sister was on a full ride scholarship. She's a year ahead of me. She was on full ride scholarship. I had gotten into Michigan State. I really didn't want to go. That was something like my parents, what wanted me to do. Mind you, I was working at the radio
Just being
station. So I was
rebellious.
I was in the music business. To me, I was in the music business, right? So I started doing stuff around the music business. I actually started working for Ready for the World. So I was doing marketing, my little marketing and different things for Ready for the World. And I was out on tour, went out on tour with them and different things like that. And that's what I like to do. But for my mom, that was not a plan A. Like, you need to get yourself together. Like, what are you going to do? So I got a scholarship in the mail from North Carolina A&T, a full ride scholarship. I didn't want to go that far away from home. So I kind of just pushed that aside. And
You didn't want to go that far away from home, but you went into the Navy.
hold on, that's what I'm saying. That's what we're getting there, right?
Get her.
I pushed that aside and I let that opportunity go. Like I said, I had options. I let that opportunity go. When my BFF lost her mind, shall I say, in regards to the music business, she got deep into different things with the music business. That's when my greater conscious kicked in. Like, really, what are you doing here? You're 19 years old. You really don't have a plan. So that's when the Navy kicked in. My dad was a Navy veteran. So that's when the Navy kicked in. So I said, let me go and see what I could do. But
So you went first,
yes, I went first.
and then you followed with the Marines.
Yeah, because I want to go to the hardest. Who the hardest? Who gonna give who the toughest?
The toughest is the
That's
fruit
what
of Islam.
That's
That's what they
well,
told
I'm
me.
just saying, you know what I was just at that time in my life. I wanted, so if I had a choice with the military, I wanted,
So listen, we're going to move forward. You guys are so accomplished. So we're going to try, in a short period of time, your wife, she's only, 42?
Yeah. Huh?
Yeah.
What in the 42 going on around here?
No, seriously, how did Islam enter your lives?
I actually grew up lot of Muslims in my family. The cousin, how she talking about, they were Muslim.
Is that right?
Yeah. So
Because from
The cousin that's
being
in-
in Michigan, Detroit was where the Honorable Elijah Muhammad started. Now, I'm assuming that because with that, your cousin is second generation Muslim.
yes.
Right?
Yes. The cousin that's actually in Ready for the World, his family is Muslim. He's Muslim.
Wow.
Yeah.
So they have to be, that's
his-
second generation.
Yes, his dad was the imam over a masjid in
my
Flint.
cousin's father.
Yeah, the one that's in Ready for the World, his dad was an imam of a masjid in Flint. They followed W.D. Muhammad. And he would go over their house and get
I don't know who they found.
he would
I just saw Muslim.
get the religion. So no, actually he's third generation because his grandfather
That's what I'm trying to count it down.
his grandfather brought the religion to the family. His
grandfather brought the Quran and said, "Y'all better read this."
Yeah, his grandfather had his grandparents had 15 kids. That's where the 201st cousins come from. 15 kids, and you with 15 siblings, you have some people that worship, practice, some people not, right? So his dad was one of the ones that really, did not.
We didn't have it in my house.
Yeah.
Well, let's back up for a minute. It's because I want to move on because I can hear my producer thinking right now. But this is very important. So you're third generation Muslim?
Yes, because your grandfather.
Your grandfather.
Yes.
So your grandparents
had
actually to meet the Honorable Elijah Muhammad in Detroit to get Islam.
They were the grandparents were from Toledo. Toledo.
Well,
but he did have uncles that worked for W.D. Muhammad. Yes.
But that's second generation.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So first generation, if it's his grandfather's first generation, now I'm not going to stick on this.
Okay.
We say that Islam has
No
been in
problem.
your family for a long time.
Yes.
Right.
Long time.
Yes.
That's an amazing story.
Yes.
So your kids are fourth or fifth generation?
Yeah, they're fourth.
Fourth generation.
Yes.
Okay. We're going to move on. So we know that Islam has been the center of your life since really the beginning.
No. I mean, again, we weren't practicing
Right.
the religion
Right.
in my household.
And I wasn't. I grew
even
up.
though it was in my family.
Yeah.
So, again, it can be in the family and everybody ain't Muslim.
That's
Right.
true. That's true.
But what drew me to it, again, I didn't really get, after my music career, after I was done with the music industry, pretty much when I came down to Atlanta is when I finally accepted the religion.
Mm-hmm.
But I was
Were you guys already married when
man, I
Yes.
was already married, had three
We
kids.
were maybe 10, between 7 and 10. I have to go back and see 7 and 10 because we've been Muslim over 25 years. So yeah, about maybe 10 years into our marriage.
Yeah, I did not grow up with it, but I was around it.
What was the moment that prompted you and your wife to say, "This is it"?
Just thought
And
process. Literally,
the discipline.
I came in one day, man, and I said, to my family, my wife, my kids. I said, "Hey, this is what I'm going to start practicing." It was just the thought. I don't know. It's just I think the guidance. And
Right. And his
I said,
uncle.
I just let them know, hey, this is what I'm doing, and I brought it into my home pretty much. But I didn't sit and make, hey, we Muslim now. Everybody,
Yeah, it
going to the
wasn't.
masjid.
No, it wasn't.
I just
forceful
kind of
like that.
That's
but,
where I was in my life, and I just kind of brought it to my house.
But his uncle, the one that's the imam in Flint, every time we would go home to Michigan to Flint, he would always be talking to us about Islam. We would be up 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, just in the kitchen, kicking it.
Hakeem,
Yeah, it's
was
just
Hakeem.
Voorhees
Voorhees Hakeem.
that worked for Muhammad Ali.
He because I'm my first time meeting Muhammad Ali.
Yeah, Muhammad Ali came to the uncle's house that was the imam.
I was around Islam a lot, even in the music industry. So it kind of just stuck with me when I said, "Okay, what are you doing in your life?"
Okay, this Islam became the center of your life, right? How did this become the center of your business practices?
Well, we have to lead with faith because it's who we are. You like when you leave someplace, you don't leave Islam. It's like who you are. So, like we said, with the discipline, that became everything that we did. We said we're gonna lead with that. Now we're not overbearing, because we're not trying to force our beliefs or anything on anyone, but it's just our principles and the way that we do certain things that Islam is present.
How we conduct business, how we conduct ourselves, how we deal with people in general, how I want somebody to deal with me. I mean, that's one of the biggest things that Islam gave me.
What was the inspiration behind Prison World magazine?
Family.
The black family, to be specific.
See, and this is where the black and Muslim intersectionality comes into play, because if you're just speaking about Muslims in general, you don't necessarily have a prison reference. But when you go to the blackness, You know, we can't leave our
When
blackness.
you say black, we
You
know
know,
the problems
that's-
and everything else that we done had with this system.
Exactly.
Again, that's another story.
It's family, and we still both have family members that are incarcerated. He wanted to step away from the music business because he was writing and producing and doing different things. And I've always been a writer. That's what I was going to go to school for. I was going to school for communications and for writing, to be in some type of journalism or, you know, like that. So I was like, well, how can we merge our talents together and also make an impact with helping people? And that's where it came up, you know, with Prison World. He had a cousin that was already locked up, and I had a family member that was locked up, got locked up at 15 for double murder. And we were saying the information that is needed is not necessarily there. And they're both Muslims. That's the only other Muslim I have in my family, is my cousin that is still locked up.
Also, the magazine was because dealing with the people we had locked up, the information they were getting, like the addresses would change. Nobody was keeping up with when phone numbers changed, and these inmates going to get this information, and then when they call these numbers, they're not there no more. The addresses aren't there. They writing. They're not getting to go back. So we wanted to make sure they had good information.
And mind you, his cousin was wrongly incarcerated, so that was really like a passion to get the information to the people who were wrongly incarcerated. And then on our trek of doing the magazine, which we did the magazine for 10 years, on our trek of doing the magazine, we came across so many people that had so many stories and different things about the prison system.
And it was the same thing.
So
everybody was going through the same
This
thing.
is so important because I'm going to stop here for a minute, because we've seen a decline in black family marriages, black marriages, right? And I was speaking to one of the deans at my alma mater, Howard University, that told me that now 80% of Howard University is female, which has its own societal problems behind that, right? Because his sisters are not able to find mates. 35 years in, what advice or what are you seeing in terms of, that's a better question, what do you see in terms of present day black male-female relationships?
Funny you would say that.
Yeah. For a couple who we got thrust into counseling once we published our book, our Surviving Marriage book, and so now we've counseled over 2,000 couples. And any type of number like that is a good focus group, right? Right. You can make your focus, because trust me, it's all types of demographics in regards to couples and people. There's a competitiveness between men and women, and submission, what we would call traditional as far as marriage, is kind of leaving the building. It's leaving society. When women can be independent, that turns more into like, you don't own me.
But that impacts, the reason that's an extension of the Prison World magazine, because brothers that could be husbands, brothers that could be leading our community are locked up.
Not as many as it was when we first started Prison World.
Is that right? Really?
Oh, yeah. The incarceration rate has dropped. Now what you see, there was a lot of people that was locked up for low-level crimes when we first started Prison World, because it was mass incarceration coming out of the 1994 crime bill. Yeah, they were locking people up for everything. Exactly, with Biden. Yeah.
Tell you what it is.
Well, it would start with Clinton.
They were locking us up for being black.
Right. It started with Clinton, but with Biden, okay? But it was a
Biden
lot of...
was behind. He wrote the crime bill.
Yes, but it was a lot of low-level crimes. Mm-hmm. What you're seeing now with incarceration, they getting what Ali Sadiq, they getting the giddy up. They getting it when you going 25 plus, you going, you know what I'm saying? You getting time when you're going down the road as far as that's concerned. But even with that stigma and that felony on your record, it's hard out here for brothers. It is hard out here for brothers. So at the same age, you may be 30 with a felony and just trying to establish yourself, where a female maybe 30 with her degree on her second degree, or already have her second degree. You know, she's had some travels and some different things. So there's an unevenness there.
So in your counseling, what have you seen? What kind of solutions do you offer?
Most of the women that have problems, it is because they don't want the man to be the leader in the household.
I mean,
They feel they could be the leader.
but
and
they
it's,
don't accept where the person is. They might love them, but right now it's all about money. So a lot of times, as far as marriage, why people aren't getting married, because the money. Like literally, he could be a good man making $75,000 to $100,000, but that's not enough.
That's not enough.
So just that, I mean, that whole thing of people, and like when she first said about the individual, about how when women are independent, women can hold their own, all of that. I don't see nothing wrong with that. I mean, it's trying to bridge a gap between a woman being independent and that marriage. It's still gonna be you're gonna have to submit somewhere.
right. And do you think that I can exist and take care of myself without him? Yes, very well.
100.
Did so without him, yeah. But why would I want to? Why should I have
This
to?
is what puzzles me, sister. Because Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, his first wife, she was the breadwinner.
Mm-hmm.
Khadijah had the money.
Mm-hmm.
And there was no problem with her accepting his leadership.
Mm-hmm. Right.
What happened?
Right.
You know, again, we come across
Everybody ain't
those-
Prophet Muhammad, so they was
well,
selling it.
well, hey,
It's just-
patience is a muscle.
Yeah, everybody ain't Prophet Muhammad.
But no. I mean, that is the problem. I mean, that literally is one of the biggest, because everybody keeps saying, and I met a couple that did not go by. I can't say I'm saying no name, but they didn't go by that value of she's got her own money, so then she felt like she can boss him around or that type of thing. I mean, money. I guess since men been doing it forever, I think that's the reversal that we're trying to get these days. That a lot of people are dealing with the woman making money. But how do we get around that? We got to step out of self.
But also, let's stay on the prophetic model. You know, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and him and Khadijah alayhi salam, right? Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam had the word they like to use so much now, a mandate. You know, he was mandated in discovery as far as Islam was concerned. She was already well established when they met. He worked for her. You know, she was well established, and for her, it was about love.
But this is what I'm puzzled again, because this is our model. So you are counseling Muslims.
We counsel
Muslims and
everybody.
non-Muslims.
During
Okay,
COVID, we
let's
counseled more Christians than anybody.
Let's
But
stay with the Muslims for a second. But you can give me your overall analysis.
Okay.
Right? This is the model. So when a Muslim sister comes in with her husband and she said he ain't making enough money, she has a guide already. Like, yeah, that's okay. It should be okay.
yeah, but she doesn't see herself as a Khadijah.
How does she see herself?
She sees herself as a Muslim sister that wants to be protected and provided for, because she has that right as well. The men are maintainers and providers, right? That protection and provision. That's how she sees herself, as
but it's
somebody
twofold.
that wants to be protected and provided for.
Twofold. She got to go by that example, though.
If she's doing all that she's supposed to be doing as a wife, where is her provision? Where is her protection?
Yeah, but
where's her
provision-
maintenance?
Yeah, but we can keep saying that, but her provision depends on how much she looking at to be provided for. Because sometimes if we working at Walmart she ain't gonna get the provision that she looking for.
Well, this is where our counseling comes in, and remind people it's within their means.
100. So
It's
with
not
Islam,
what's
we try to bring you back to what we know, and it's about him providing of what his means is.
It's
if
not
that's what you want
what
to do.
social media says. It's not what society says. It's not any of that.
I don't care what
It's
y'all say is his means.
It's what Islam says. Now, mind you, we do have some people that come to us in regards to infidelity, social media, subordinate disagreements. You know, they don't see eye to eye. They don't, not getting up for prayer. Different. You know what I'm saying? Just little intricate little things within their marriages that they come to us.
And per Islam, we just try to remind people, you ain't in control of somebody's deen. You can't control where they at, how many times they praying, what they doing. I mean, sometimes those be deal breakers to people, but I mean, Allah would have gave up on all of us.
Right. We
break the deal every day.
We have to give those reminders, because it's like a house devoid of study or a house devoid of prayer is a house that's destined to fail.
Yeah.
So that's where we come in, with people. And we get people all the time that's like, I need counseling, but what's the but? You don't want to come because you don't want to, find out what you're thinking is true. You don't want to find out that, maybe you do have a mate that's not going to live up to your potential, your standards. So something that we always ask, because once again, like I said, we have a great focus group, is, did you have premarital counseling? 99.9% of the couples that came to us did not have premarital counseling.
And I would not tell someone something that I wish I had premarital counseling. I literally feel,
because there's so much,
a lot that we went through early on just wouldn't happen.
Right. There's so much that's covered. We cover everything from sex to finances. So there's so much that's covered in that short amount of time, but a lot of people don't want to have it because you're already in love.
Because I think premarital counseling puts other things on your mind than what you expect, than what you might have seen growing up. Premarital counseling actually puts like real thoughts in, like we was talking about insurance. How many people even discuss what was it, the one in the car? It was huge.
About vaccines?
Vaccines.
Yeah.
How many people discuss those things before they get married?
And we have that.
It's a situation.
We have that question in our card game, and this was before COVID. Our card game came out before COVID.
Okay, now we got to move on, because see, you guys are powerful. You now, Surviving Marriage for the 21st Century. That's the right title, right?
Yes.
You sold 500,000 copies.
Yes. Yeah, we just recently hit
500.
500. We independently.
That's what I'm saying. Is it independently published?
Yes.
It was
500,000 copies.
Self-published, yes.
Self-published. Talk about that journey.
Well,
oh my gosh.
The journey. I don't say what the publishing name. I don't know.
We're not going to talk about it. We're not going to talk about that.
My point
No.
is we broke away from someone controlling the purse string.
We self-published our book because we just wanted a voice in the space. We had been married 20-some years. We were seeing all these. This is like when all these gurus started coming out.
And knowing what I knew in the music industry and people controlling the purse.
And a lot of people, we were saying, oh, my God, we've been married 20-some years. That information is whack. Like, why are they saying that? Like, what's going on? Like, just giving whack information.
This is so important, because the entrepreneurial spirit that lives in Rufus and Jenny should be given to everyone, right? So I'm trying to hone in on the whole.
Yes.
We're doing this.
Yes,
Self-help.
exactly. So we had the magazine, and they were changing, like, everything that was going on in prisons. It was just, our magazine was starting to get denied in a lot of places, I guess, because it was too powerful, right? So we were like, okay, we're going to have a pivot at some point. So we started looking at where else we could make an impact. Actually, we started in 2008. I found a Facebook post of outlining our book, but it didn't get published until 2013. So we finally got the book published in 2013, and we put it out just with a little pre-marketing, because the marketing that I do here, pre-marketing, and it stayed on the bestsellers list. It stayed on the Amazon bestsellers list.
We
Just
just
stayed.
little old us.
Yes, yes. And not only did it stay on the Amazon bestsellers list, it went to #1 in the marriage category. But then we started getting requests for like speaking engagements, like all different places. And we're just like, we just wanted to put a book out to have a voice in the space. We didn't necessarily ask.
So out of this book came different income streams.
Yes, yes. Very much so. That we didn't ask for, because we were just trying to have a voice in the space. We didn't know who was going to buy the book.
And what gave birth to it was the love. So not only did you give birth to children, you gave birth to a book.
Gave birth to it, but and it's like that.
You know what I'm talking about.
Man,
we tell
look.
people about, we tell people about like every magazine issue that we used to put out. It was like birthing a baby, because it's a lot to go through editing. He used to do all the design and technical aspects and everything. So it's like birthing a baby. Putting the book out was definitely like birthing a baby. That was.
I mean, we had to learn all the aspects, just like I did the music industry.
We knew nothing
Again,
about the book
I
game.
took those skills, like you said earlier, and we put them to what we were doing.
We knew nothing about the book game. Nothing. Absolutely
I'm not
nothing.
an artist.
Not,
I'm not a
not that we need an ISBN
designer.
number. No, I mean, we knew nothing about
So
that.
they should be your inspiration to put out your book. Whoever's thinking about putting out a book, Rufus and Jenny, and I know you're available for consultation
Just
as well.
Oh,
put it down.
definitely. We have counseled a lot of
Start
people
putting
about
it
their
down.
book. I just had one
Just
the
do
other
it.
day, and the sister was asking me about. She didn't know. Like I actually just gave her step by step by everything that you need to put out a book, and she just kept saying, "Oh my goodness, I had no idea." Oh my god, and it reminded me of us, because we had no idea. That's what it took to
Now you know
put out
I'm
a book.
producing a show, a marital show, where we hope to help Muslims.
Inshallah, inshallah.
Right. So now you got 13 tips in the book.
One of my one of my personal biggest ones is
Yeah,
leave,
Go ahead.
leave people alone.
Say that again, brother.
Yeah, that's a tip in the book.
Oh, okay. Say that one more. I didn't hear him. I didn't
Leave
hear him. I didn't
them
say it one
be.
more time. Leave people
Leave 'em
alone.
be.
Leave them
Yeah.
be,
Because
right?
you
Leave 'em
can't
be.
control where somebody
You
at.
can't control where
And
somebody's
the
at.
more I try to control this woman, the more pushback I was getting. I was
Yeah.
tired of trying to,
He
you
didn't-
get tired of trying to control
He,
people.
he didn't know he married Mary Jennings' daughter, and Mary Jennings'
didn't
daughter
care
wasn't
at
about
the
to
time.
be controlled.
I had
Okay.
issues. I worked through my issues.
Now, mind you, I want to preface this. Oh my gosh, now,
Well,
mind
I
you,
know, is Khadijah
control.
your model? Is
Yeah.
Khadijah your model?
As a control, yes, I am definitely a boss. Okay, but
Whoa,
control.
wait a minute, wait.
Control has
You ain't
nothing
the
to
boss of
do
me.
with submission. That's why I want to say it has. Let's not get the two twisted.
Okay.
Okay, but when you snap your fingers, that don't mean I'm about to jump. So that type of
I mean,
control.
it was vice versa, but the bottom line is once I knew to back off, or once she would want me to do this or do this way, well, we always tell the flip-flop story. I wear flip-flops. She want me to put on dress shoes. It ain't finna happen. We about to bump heads all day long. So when she knew to just leave me alone, let me put
Right.
on my flip-flop.
Right. One of the biggest disagreements we had when we came in the military, and we would go to the commissary on base, and we were a little broke then, right? So
I was
heavily
never broke.
So
Excuse
heavily
you.
on a budget, right? And just growing up differently.
I
You know,
just
you
had
have
different
to
means
you
than
have
was
to
used to.
acclimate. Yeah, means okay.
Mhm.
Bare necessities. But you have to acclimate to each other. And he grew up eating Captain Crunch. I did not. So
You had to take out my good cereal.
I wanted my
Ugh.
Cheerios. So we were in the commissary.
Boring.
We were in the commissary actually having
You guys are a
Discussion.
reality show.
a discussion about Captain Crunch and Cheerios, to the point where it got to be an argument where security was
I
called
wasn't
on
out here
us
no more.
to usher us out of the
I ain't had no money
commissary.
for no Cheerios and
So
Captain Crunch.
those are the type of disagreements, that little disagreements that happens in marriages where they end up being big disagreements,
You
and
know,
people never get
arguing in
over
the
them.
Store everybody we putting on the show for that's reality.
Oh yeah,
We have reality
and
early on in marriages all the time because people just be out in public doing whatever.
And we can't say that people don't know couples that you've been out somewhere and you could look at them, oh, that couple arguing. That couple and we travel a lot. So we've seen them on vacations in different countries and restaurants.
Okay, you guys traveled all over the country, all over the world.
Yes.
Please give me your most memorable experience.
Dubai.
I knew you were going to say that.
That's for Rufus. We'll get to you in a second.
Dubai.
Why?
Because we did a book signing in Dubai when our first time around. And they literally came out. I couldn't speak Arabic or nothing. I'm amazed at the fact that these people are coming out listening to us. I couldn't speak their language.
Well, there's a lot of expats in Dubai as well. So.
Well, I'm just saying, surprise me. I couldn't speak a lick. I know the verses I know in Quran. That's it. Yeah. I started Bismillah. I didn't know what to tell them, but I thought that was really.
Was it the aesthetics, the architecture, or just the experience?
The
people.
Literally, man.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you what. I cried when I never heard the adhan go off like in a city like that, and when the adhan went off, I cried. Yeah. Like that was really emotional.
Such
for me.
An amazing experience.
Yeah, and it's luxury. Is when you step off the plane, the airport is luxury. It looks something like out of the Jetsons with the elevators and
marble.
Everything is sparkling and glass, and it's just.
Let me tell you, my first trip there, I ate at a McDonald's.
We did too.
That fish sandwich.
I had a double cheeseburger.
Never had. That was like an old school Muslim fish sandwich.
I haven't had McDonald's in 20 years.
Yes,
they don't have that kind of fish in America.
It's fresh.
It's fresh
But
fish.
to hear that the king, he doesn't let anything in the country that's not halal, and everything has to be fresh. So I had a double cheeseburger, and I'd say it was the best.
Ever.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, where was your best experience, most memorable experience?
I would say Tanzania. And Tanzania, for people who don't know, Dar es Salaam is the capital, and it is it is East Africa, which a lot of people don't go over to East Africa, maybe Kenya. But off the coast of Dar es Salaam is Zanzibar, which is 99% Muslim, and they have a very old community there, Stone Market, and they actually have a market that is done every night down in the middle of Zanzibar, and they do halal food and they do entertainment, and the whole community comes out, kids, and they're there like 1-2 o'clock in the morning. It's a very safe country. It's a very cultured country, and it's the experience.
But when the kids learned our name, it was like Rufus and Jenny.
Yeah,
I was like, what?
You're
like,
awful.
You're
awful.
Say some
African
Rufus
accent, or what is that?
I just like the way they kept saying it.
What are the common struggles that you see that couples have in marriage? What's the thread that binds the struggle?
These days, a lot of people feel that they could find something better. Like that vibe from back in the 80s, I could do bad by myself. That is a lot of what is said today. And then when they get out there, they see the streets have nothing to offer.
Nothing. But that goes back. It's what Allah tells us: patience. That one of the biggest struggles I feel is being patient with somebody and let them change on their own. That's one of the things in the book too. I changed on my own. I heard everything she was telling me. I heard how she wanted me to dress, what she wanted me to. I heard all of it. I was not, because she was telling me it just wasn't going to happen on her time. But because I loved her and because we were growing our marriage, eventually I changed. It didn't change in a week or two or a year. It took a couple of years for me to change, but I finally.
Let me give you this analogy, because I like to. We have a lot of examples because we've counseled a lot of couples, but I'm going to give this analogy. When you're with someone, we met at 16. We got married at 21. You are not fully grown at that age. So you're going to grow. And I've grown with this guy.
Ooh, I thought you were going to call me something else.
Like over 35 years. certain things that you buy in your home, like a mattress, you grow over time. It says every 8 years or so, maybe you outgrow your mattress. We just bought a new mattress yesterday, day before, right? How many mattresses have we had in this marriage? Because we outgrown or changed throughout time. So you have to change within your marriage when different things that you outgrow.
And people get stuck. That's one of the biggest things. We get stuck on what we got when we first get married. It's gonna change. It's gonna change like change.
Yeah, change can change.
What is the secret to maintaining a 35-year marriage?
Leaving me alone.
Stop it.
Leave me
faith.
be.
It's a lot of faith, a lot of prayer.
Leave me be.
A lot of forgiveness. Not pushing each other's buttons.
All of the things that people probably know, but how the book was pretty much to say, how do you get to those things? How do you get to the forgiveness? How do you get, and really the biggest thing is patience.
It is. And faith. I have to go back to our faith because we've had a lot of ups and downs. You know, we lost our oldest son.
Wouldn't have been for Islam, I'd have been out the door about 4 times.
We lost our oldest son like 8 years ago.
How many children do you have?
We have 2 living, but our oldest transitioned like 8 years ago. So at 27, we know a lot of people that would have killed their marriage. That would have destroyed.
We know some marriages it did.
Yeah, that would have destroyed their marriage. But it brought us closer together. Like a lot of stuff that we've gone through, exactly because of faith. And you have to put that first, and you have to go back to what Allah says. And throughout that situation, Allah says, have patience.
A lot of people say they have faith until they test it.
Until they're tested.
When you get tested, that's when your faith is tested.
Until they're tested, exactly.
So, Rufus, you said in jest, if it wasn't for Islam, you'd have been out the door 4 times.
He said it in jest. No, he said it in jest to you because it's 4 in this interview, but it's been 5. It's been 8. It's been 8 in some interviews. So yeah,
Detroit is coming out of you right there. I see the neck was moving from left to right.
Yeah,
that was Detroit. Islam left the room.
No, Jenny from the block. Jenny from the block.
Tell her what it was.
Don't get the scarf twisted. Don't get the scarf twisted. He learned it.
Neck. I was like, whoa, look out, boy.
He learned it quick. Yeah.
Look, it's you because of the test. The Islam grounded me for those tests. I was not grounded for the test that I was gonna have to endure in a marriage. So therefore, most of us, when we get tested in a big way, we ready to go. I can't do it. I got there. No, this is too much. And I when we counsel, I see the same thing. I be laughing sometimes. I'm not laughing at y'all, but you know, I've been through that.
Yeah.
Because I
see
know
myself in you.
I know you're being tested, and your faith. Again, when you find people that their faith is kind of shaky, or they're not really practicing whatever, and we've counseled. I even had a Buddhist. Buddhist was in the house. I was like, Buddhist? I didn't even know Buddhists got married or not. I don't know nothing about Buddhists. But anywho, point being is, when those tests come, and your faith ain't strong, you may fail the test, and you may be out of that marriage. And I could have been out of there on many occasions because I felt I didn't want to stick.
It don't matter. If you was out, you would have been spinning the block, boo, because, you would have found out ain't nothing like me. Ain't nothing you find.
Detroit walked back in the room,
I don't
brother.
know what you talking about.
Detroit walked back in the room. Now, listen, okay, as we close, what advice do you give to some young brothers and sisters out there?
Woo!
Advice
How much
on love.
time we
Try
got?
to be around.
Oh,
no,
my.
I'm gonna get simple because I'm gonna tell you, it's in Philly. We did a
Book signing.
book signing in Philly, and a little 15-year-old came to me, bro, and he said, "Thank you. You know, I don't see this." And that's actually what kept me, because I was ready to go. I thought we done did enough, like we did with the magazine. I thought we spent so many years touring and giving people advice. I was ready to get out of it, but that 15-year-old turned me around, and I said, nope, I'm gonna stick in it, because we gotta have more examples out there. They gotta see, our children have to see how it works.
And marriage
that's
is
the
not
problem.
marriage is not what these people see on reality TV. It's not what they see on social media and different things. Marriage is day after day. So you're going to have to stick in day after day, because after the highlight reel and those doors close, life gets real. It gets real, and sometimes it gets thick. And so it really tests your character and who you are and if you're committed. That is one of the reasons why I married him. Some people say, why you guys married so young? One of the reasons why I married him was because he was committed. And he said,
Because I was a Mac?
yeah, and it's in
I
the
thought
book.
because I was a Mac.
You were not a
I was a
Mac.
Mac.
Oh my God, you're such a puppy dog. But anyway, when we walked into those quarters, and he asked me before we walked in, he said, are you sure as far as us getting married?
Tell him.
He said, because when I get married, it's forever. And he has been committed to that every day of these 35 years.
I walked out the door about 6 times.
That sounds like a good song title. Okay. All right, listen, Rufus, Jenny, you came with some products.
Yes, sir.
Please share.
Now, we have our couples card game.
Tell me about the couples card game.
Surviving Marriage. It is
People don't know how to talk to people.
yeah, it is an accompaniment to our best-selling book, and it was created for our 30th anniversary, because that was one of the common denominators that we kept getting in our counseling sessions was communication. People do not talk. So we created the couples card games, 99 questions for one great conversation. Turn around the back. And it has 3 categories: for better, for worse, for richer, for poor, and sickness and in health. And it's questions over time, just like conversation starters for people to have. It has done such a great job that a lot of single people actually buy the game, and they play it with either their intendant or people they're trying to get information out of.
Well, instead of
or
asking, what's your name, what's your sign,
what's
we
your
give them
favorite
real
color.
questions to actually get to know somebody. And if you're in a marriage, like we do, card game came because we talking to marriages and they don't talk. We don't have nothing to talk about. Why not? There's so much stuff in the world.
Yes.
How can you have nothing to talk about?
We've gotten feedback from couples who have had other couples over that gather and they play the game with each other and their spouses and different things. It was like, oh my God, this game is so great. Like one question.
We didn't get past the first card.
Yeah,
it
one
took us
question.
a whole hour.
Exactly. You'll just stay on it and it goes in depth and different things that you talk about. And like I said, the question is in there about the vaccines. We created this before COVID. And we had couples during COVID. My husband wants me to get the vaccine. I do not. We are at an impasse. So we were counseling couples, in regards to that, on how to make a decision, on what to get. But it all started with this.
This
our
is
best-selling book.
Yes.
Surviving Marriage in the 21st Century. #1 bestseller on Amazon. 500,000 copies sold. Self-published. The great Rufus and Jenny Triplett. I am so happy and honored that you came on the show.
Honored to be here, brother.
It's been wonderful.
Very honored. I'm look, man.
I had so much fun.
We had a ball.
Assalamu alaikum. Until we meet again, the Oasis signing off. Your brother, Haq Islam. Assalamu alaikum.